Bizarre stories from the subscribers. Hello, I'm Gregory, an 11-year-old boy, and I saw something bizarre happen at school. In the last semester, my teacher Carolina went on maternity leave. In her place, a substitute teacher named Dennis came in. He was quite different from the other teachers. He always wore black clothes, sunglasses, and had really long hair, looking like a rocker. The most curious thing was that I felt like I had seen Dennis somewhere before. Everything seemed normal until one day, during recess, I saw Dennis coming from the back of the school, a place where students weren't allowed to go. Last year I had jumped over the wall and gone there secretly, and I knew there were only trees in that place. Dennis was carrying a black umbrella, apparently protecting himself from the sun, which stuck in my mind. It was time for his class, and at one point one of the girls came over to ask a question. But he started acting strange and told her to sit down right away, saying he would help her later. That day he left the classroom and never came back. The days went by, and curious, I went to the forbidden place where I saw the teacher. That's when I discovered something disturbing. In the middle of the trees, there were some concrete structures. I saw what looked like a lid move. And from inside, Dennis came out, sneaky, as if he didn't want to be seen. After about 10 minutes frozen behind the tree, I went over there to take a look, man. I thought it was a sewer box, but actually it was a tombstone, man. There were two of them there. Dennis's photo was on one of them, and he had the school's last name. Did this guy already die and come back to teach us? So I went to ask the principal what was going on. The principal greeted me with a curious look when I entered her office. I took a deep breath and told her everything I had seen. Her eyes widened, but she kept her composure and asked me to wait there while she checked something. After a few minutes that felt like hours, she came back with a serious expression and told me that Dennis's last name was indeed the same as the school's because he was the founder's grandson. She explained that Dennis had died a few years ago in a mysterious accident. The principal asked me to keep what I saw a secret, saying she would investigate the situation. In the following days, the atmosphere at the school became even more sinister. Dennis continued teaching, but his bizarre behaviors became more frequent. He always avoided sunlight, closed the windows in every classroom, and his gaze seemed increasingly empty and frightening. Then, something even more disturbing happened. The principal, while investigating Dennis's history, suffered a mysterious accident. She was found unconscious at the back of the school, exactly where I had seen him come out of that tombstone, man. No one seemed to want to talk about it. A few days later, a new principal took over the position. She was an older, overweight woman with the same last name as Dennis. Her name was Matilde. As soon as she arrived, the school began to change. The walls seemed darker, the hallways colder, and there were no more sunny days in that place. Matilde's presence was oppressive. She seemed to know everything that happened at the school, and somehow she was always one step ahead of any attempt at investigation or questioning. I started to notice that some children would disappear for days, and when they came back, they were different. They had red marks on their necks, wrists, and other parts of their bodies. Their eyes were empty and they acted strangely, as if they were under some kind of control. However, before I could continue my investigation, my family moved to another city, and then I left the school, right? I don't know how things are over there these days, but I hope they've gotten better. It all started when I decided to try something from an acquaintance at a party. I didn't have the courage to approach a girl, so I resorted to that. Damn the night I made that decision. Since I was a foreigner, I was a bit afraid to speak another language and have a relationship there. I was a healthy young man, full of energy, but that was the beginning of the abyss. So when I blinked, I had already been living that life for a few months, similar to a homeless person. I used to wander the streets of Las Vegas, the city that never sleeps, but where darkness lurks in the most unexpected corners. My life was chaos, fueled by the stuff that kept me captive, you know. When I couldn't keep myself afloat anymore, I found refuge in the city's sewer tunnels, a subworld that society preferred not to think about. In the tunnels, I met a man I thought was my companion in misfortune. We lived as partners, collecting supplies and sharing the little we could find. Here you go, my brother. Another dose for you. Just go for it, it's easy. Don't worry about paying me back now, it's fine. But something was wrong. There was something supernatural about the way he moved. His eyes shone in the darkness in a way I had never seen before. I didn't want to believe it, but the truth revealed itself to me in a terrifying way. One night I woke up from a restless sleep to find him. That's when I saw him. He was blacker than the darkness itself. He hovered over me. His face was distorted, the pure embodiment of a demon. I tried to move away, but it was already too late. He told me I had a debt to pay with him. With one blow, he tore out my left eye. You owe me, and I'm going to take an eye from you. It's my fair payment. The pain was unbearable, but the terror of knowing I was living next to a demon was even worse. From that moment on, my life in the tunnels became a constant nightmare. The stops were no longer enough to keep away the fear and paranoia, and on a hellish night, more demons appeared. When I woke up and saw that, man, I didn't have any skin left. I was bleeding on the verge of death, and I had no idea how I would survive. Me, since I was always high, I couldn't feel, man, what happened. Miraculously, someone found me there in those tunnels, collapsed, and took me to the hospital. I think it was someone from some rehab center who found me there and tried to save me. I just remember that at the hospital, I was rejected because I didn't have any documents, and I ended up on the streets like that. A man shattered physically and spiritually. Surviving was a mystery, but I made it, Leo Augusto. Day after day, I started to get back on my feet. Now in 2024, my life has turned around. Somehow, I managed to get off the streets and enter a rehab program. It's not easy, but I'm clean, trying to rebuild what's left of my life. The scars, both physical and emotional, are constant reminders of my days in those tunnels and the demons I faced. I share my story so that others know that even in the depths of hell, there is a chance for redemption. The path is hard, but I'm proving every day that it's possible. Even today, I keep wondering if that person I was with was really a demon, or if it was just a result of the drugs I was using there. But either way, I never want to deal with that again. Leo Augusto, thanks. I hope you guys enjoyed this bizarre subscriber story. And if you want to send in a story to appear in this segment here, send it to inscritosleo@gmail.com, alright? I'm going to wrap it up here, okay? Bye.